Okay. Hello everyone, Charlie here. Now, this is a video I really never thought I would do. I've refilmed this countless times to try and get this right, and hopefully this is the take. This really is a video I never thought that I would do. I just never had any reason to. I never felt that it was something I wanted to do. I mean, this channel has never gone in this direction before. I've never spoken seriously about something like this, but it's something that I feel like, for my sake, to get it off of my chest, and also for the sake of other people who have been through it, it's good to get it out there. Um, this video, if the title doesn't make it clear, is going to be about my experience with grooming. Now, you might be able to also tell that maybe the audio sounds bad, visuals aren't great. This is in no way a professional video. This is literally just me sitting, filming with my phone, talking about an experience that I've had. So if you want something more professional, that this video is actually somewhat, I guess the word would be, inspired by, click the link in the description and it will take you to the video which I'm about to talk about. Just to kind of explain why I'm talking about this. So yeah, this channel has never gone in this direction. I've used this channel as somewhat of a time capsule for myself to look back on videos that I've made, playing games with my friend George. That's mostly what I do on this channel now, with the occasional videos here and there of me just playing games and clips that I find funny. I'd say probably before like 2019 sort of time, it was like, oh, I make videos to be famous. It's every kid's dream to be famous or whatever. So yeah, don't look back before then because it's just a load of shit, really. But yeah, as you can tell, this isn't something I would usually do. So I just wanted to, preface that this isn't for attention or anything. This is just me talking about something really close to me, something that's affected me, and if it can help other people by talking about it, I will. So the reason I'm going into this is because I saw a video from a YouTuber called Cam Kirkham, which I'll put his video in the description because it is a very it hit very close to home, seeing someone who usually uploads kind of fun content, watching videos, reacting to them, reacting to posts, things like that. He's in the very much the same league as Memulous, so that kind of content, if you haven't heard of him. And to see him talk about his experience with sextortion, which is a form of grooming, just made me feel like I should talk about my experience myself, because if he can do it, why can't I? And it really is something that's not talked about enough. People don't go into it. It's not spoken about in schools. No one comes to tell you their experience. So I just want to talk about it to help people and to get it off of my chest, because it has been very much something that's controlled my life for a long time. So I'd say if you want to kind of see where this is stemmed from, please go and watch Cam Kirkham's video, which is in the description. He talks about his experiences, and I feel that he probably does it in a much better way, because it's a lot more of a serious, not serious, it's a lot more of a professional kind of setup that he has. I'm just filming from my phone. But yeah, with that out of the way, one more thing I want to say is I'll be talking about my experience in this video, my experiences. Now, my experiences are very much sole to me. They're the experiences I've had. You may have had an experience that has impacted you more, to you. Like it could have been something more serious, less serious, but I just want to go out there and say that everyone has their own way of processing things, and everyone is valid in their experience. If you've experienced something and someone else has said, no, well, yeah, but I had this happen and more, everyone handles grief, trauma, all the different emotions in very different ways. So I'm not here to say that my experience has been easier or harder to deal with than someone else's. Um, I just thought I'd put that out there because I know a lot of people look at things and go, "Oh yeah, but you know, my brother was killed in front of me or something." You know, it's a lot of people go, you know, I had this happen, I had this happen, um, or they'll say, "Oh well, you know, this person had it worse than me, so I'm not valid." Everyone is valid. Everyone's experiences are very much valid. So yeah, with that all out of the way. I will get into this because yeah, I've left it too long. I need to stop stalling. But I just wanted to get all of that out of the way. You are valid. Yeah, I'm just going to get straight into this. So hopefully this reaches people and helps them. So God, where do I start? Well, I start at the beginning, don't I? So it was the 18th of January 2003, and I was born. No, I'm joking. I'm not going back. I'm not going back that far. That wasn't even a funny joke. Why am I joking in a serious video? Sorry. You can tell I'm nervous about this. So anyway, all right. Okay, I got this. So I was probably about, I'd say 12, 13, probably more around 11, 12 actually, now I think about it, when I had my first experience with grooming. So my experience, it started because I started to get, as many boys do, I started to get kind of, yeah, I started to go through puberty. I was very much, it very much started early on, not physically but mentally. Like in my head, um, I started to feel things, and I didn't really know what they were. And having access to a tablet, and having parents who, didn't expect that from me. I had kind of no fears of looking things up and finding out more, and that is what I ended up doing. So, like I say, I was about 11, 12, and I started having, I started obviously going through puberty, and I started sort of feeling things that I didn't fully understand. And these feelings started before then. They started when I was like maybe 9 or 10. And it's not the usual, like, kind of sexual feelings. Like, it's not the usual, oh, boobs kind of thing. It was more of a, to put it simply, it was more of a kind of kink thing. I found myself fascinated with a very particular thing, and I didn't really know why. All I knew was that it was kind of weird, and why do I feel this way? Um, so I started to look on the internet, and kind of figure things out. Once I figured out how the internet itself worked, I started looking up things related to this particular kink. Now I'm not going to get into what the kink is because it's very personal to me. It's my private life, and this isn't something that you need to know. But what I can tell you is that it's very much a not very well known one, to say the least. I still have it to this day, and I'm not embarrassed by it, or anything like that. It is just me at the end of the day, and the trauma is probably what made it stay in my head. I guess I don't really know. I know trauma can very much impact your mental health and things like that. So that could be why. But yeah, it's a very not well known kink. Not a lot of people know about it. It's very obscure. So me looking up, a very like just how a 10-year-old will put boobies in his phone to find out more about boobies, in a very kind of prepubescent childlike way. I would look up, videos of this or pictures of this to just see more, find out more. I saw barely anything, and I thought, oh, so no one else experiences this. This must be alone to me. I must be the only person in the world who has these weird feelings. I must be weird. What do I do? Um, Now, at the time, I had a Facebook which was set up for me many years prior, and I was given access to this Facebook. Um, and I don't know why. I don't know how I found it, but I was on again. I was on Google looking up things, trying to find stuff so that I could just understand why I had this kink. I didn't even know it was a kink. I didn't know what kinks were. Um, mm. But one thing led to another, and I ended up finding a Facebook group dedicated to this kink. Now, when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, that's what it was called. It had the scientific name of the kink, everything, and I was like, oh, okay, hold on, that's what it's called. Let me click on that. So I clicked on it, and the Facebook group only had about 5 people on it. It was, like I say, very, very, very obscure kink. There's probably one you never even knew existed. Again, I'm not going into it, but yeah, it's that obscure that it took me a long time to find anything. And when I did, I found that the person who ran the group, I looked at their profile picture and I thought, oh, well, they look quite young. The picture that they used, obviously, spoiler alert, it wasn't actually them. It was an much older man, but it was like who looked to be maybe a 15-year-old boy. I still remember the picture to this day, and I still remember the username. I won't say what the username is, but obviously I'll explain. The picture was kind of like a boy with relatively long black hair, kind of goth looking, and in a weird way I looked up to them and I was like, oh, they're only a few years older than me. They can tell me what this feeling is, what this strange feeling I'm having is, and why I have it. So I got into contact with them. I didn't receive any reply in a few days, but I messaged them on Messenger saying, hello. It was something like, oh, hello. I noticed you run the group. I think I have an interest in this, and it makes me feel good or whatever, something like that. Again, I don't remember really exactly what I said. It was a long time ago, but yeah, I sent that, got no reply, and I thought, oh, okay, well they're not active or anything. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, they replied to me, and they it started off very nice. Again, I can't remember what really they said, but it was something along the lines of, oh yeah, I have this this is called a kink or a fetish, whatever. It's and not a lot of people have it. It's nice to finally meet someone who does. It's nice to meet another person who does. How old are you? And I, being naive, just told them how old I was, 11, 12, however old I was at the time. Um, and they said, oh, okay, well, I'm however old they said they were. I think they did say they were like 14, 15 or something. And I believed them, being as naive as I was. I was like, okay, well, they're not lying. So yeah, one thing led to another. We started talking, and they said to me, "Oh, why do you think you have this kink? Like, why? What makes you think you have it?" And I was just saying, "Oh, I just like this and that." And they said, "Oh yeah, no, I'm exactly the same." Um, they on the group they posted a few different pictures, showing off this kind of kink, and they said, "Oh, those pictures. What do you think?" And I said, "Yeah, I like them, and I want to know more." And this was kind of when the more sort of devious and groomy side came out, and they said to me, "Oh, well, if oh shit." Just talking about it makes me feel quite ill, but they said, if you do really have this kink and you're not messing around, can you send me a photo of yourself doing what that person did in that post, that picture that I've sent you? Can you do your own version of it? And me being like, oh, I probably shouldn't send things, but they're only a little bit older than me. I trust them. I did it. I sent them what they asked for. Now, it was nothing. This kink isn't an inherently like sexual thing. It doesn't involve like genitals, so it didn't feel like a bad thing I was doing. It just felt like, oh, I probably shouldn't send strange things to people I don't know, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So I did. But it didn't feel like I needed to stop. I needed to get away. It didn't feel like that because it wasn't like that. It wasn't anything to do with genitals. It didn't show any part of me that is illegal and not something that you could show on your body out in public. It was nothing like that, if that makes sense. So yeah, I sent them what they asked for, and they said to me, "Oh, yeah, that's great. That's good. Do you want me to send you something of myself?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, sure." And I can't remember what they. Well, I remember what they sent me, but I straight away noticed it didn't really look like their profile picture. But they played it off and said, "Oh no, I've had a tan or whatever." It was a darker skinned person. Um, and it was quite a close up view of what I was looking at, and it didn't show any defining kind of it didn't. I couldn't look at it and go, well, that looks like an old person, what I mean, if that makes sense. um so I just kind of went along with it, assumed the best, and yeah, we spoke for it couldn't have been more than a couple of months, but it felt like years, and it still feels like I spoke with them for years, but I know it must have been, it could have even been under a month. I don't remember exactly how long the time was, but one thing led to another, and we started sort of, or I started sending them more things that they asked for, and being curious and stupid, it did unfortunately end up with them asking me for other images not related to this kink, and that did end up being um, pictures of myself uh, revealing myself, and when I started doing that, I knew it was wrong. I knew I should stop doing that, but I kept doing it because I didn't want to lose this person who had connected me to something so much more vast, if that makes sense. Um, it's something that I want to know more about, and something I want to be more connected with. So yeah, I just did what they asked, and after a while, they started to reveal to me. I don't know why, but they started to reveal to me their true age, where they lived, and it ended up being a man from India who was about 35, 40 years old. Um, and I realized that I had been, yeah, I'd been groomed. That's what this was. This wasn't, a slightly older boy who's showing me the ropes sort of thing. This was something much worse, and by that point I'd sent them awful, awful things that could still be out there to this day. Very, like, obviously me doing very bad things, and things that no child should ever show, no child should ever be told or asked to do. It was awful, 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 awful stuff, and it took me a while to actually say to myself, no, I need to get out of this. So I think I ended up saying to them, oh, hi, this is his mother. You need to stop this. He's going to be blocking you now. We're going to be contacting the police. Blah blah blah. He didn't believe it, and under all the pressure, I kind of gave in and said, "No, it is me, and it is me." But then I tried it again, and a few days later, and he said, well, no, I know who this is, I'll just tell everyone, blah blah blah. And I panicked and I just blocked them. They never told anyone, they never did anything, so it was just a bluff, thank God. But I just blocked them, never heard from them again. I recently actually checked to see if their account is still running, and yeah, there's no sign of it. It's not even in my blocked people anymore. So I don't really know what happened, but I think they got the purge or they deleted it themselves. I don't know, but there's still a chance that those things are still out there. Yeah, I ended up telling my mum what happened, and she was very supportive. Spoke to me about it. We never went to the police or anything. I just tried to forget about it, moved on. Um, but I felt lost after that, knowing that that could have been the only person who I would ever meet with said kink, and the only person who I could get information from and understand more about myself from. Um, and that really bothered me a lot, because I felt like I was alone again, even though they had groomed me and I put my trust in them and they had pushed me to do all these terrible things. I just felt like I'd lost someone who knew that part of me and who I could listen to. And obviously, looking back, that wasn't the case at all. I was better off without them. But by that point, I was so invested in finding out more that I ended up searching. Now, here's the kicker. I ended up searching for this whole kink thing again, and I fell into a whole other kink, man. I just fell into the whole, like, the more well known stuff, and being that age, I kind of just absorbed it all and it just became part of me. And to this day, I have multiple kinks now, and I'm a little embarrassed to admit it, but it's life, it's whatever. I'm autistic, that's probably why I picked them all up and now they're just part of me. But it's not something that controls me or anything like that. It's not like a pyrocynical fat fetish. It's not that, by the way. But it's not like that. It's but like with him, it's just a thing that he's just accepted, and I would say I'm very much in that same position. It's the only time I've talked about this publicly, though, so this may become like a thing where I'm targeted for it. It's like, he probably has this, he's probably this, he's probably that. Whatever, say what you want, but I'm just glad to get it out and just be honest. And I'm not ashamed of myself. I don't consider myself a degenerate, just a person. Um, but yeah, by this point anyway, I had obviously found all this other stuff, and I was like, oh my god, there's so many more of these kinks that I didn't know about, and my poor little autism, only just gone into puberty brain was just in overload, just kinks from all angles. It was like a cartoon battle, someone trying to fend off all these things, but eventually they get you, and that's what this was essentially. And I let it consume me, man. I really let it consume me, and that original kink just became something that I kind of forgot about. Like I say, it still happened to this day, but um, it was just it got buried under the rug. I ended up meeting someone who, again, I still know to this day. I consider them a very close friend. I ended up meeting someone who actually was the age that they said they were, and they actually are the age. Um, and they opened me to this whole community just full of people, and most of them my age. Again, most of them I still know to this day. And I just felt so I just felt accepted, really. And in school, I didn't feel accepted. So this was a big thing for me to be in a community of people who have the same feelings that I do. It was just it just felt great. And for anyone who doesn't know how that feels, they won't get this at all. They'll think I'm fucking mental. I probably am, but these people, they are still I'm still friends with so many of them to this day, and we are just normal friends, completely normal friends that connected through a mutual interest that just happened to be something a little degenerate. But it just worked. And I discovered myself, found out I was gay by that point, and I was probably about, what, 14 by that point. I knew, yeah, I'm gay. This is who I am. This is what I am. And I thought everything was smooth sailing. I'd met so many people that like I say, I still know to this day. I still speak to on a very regular basis. They were all pretty much my age, a few years older. I was one of the younger ones, but they hadn't. There was no ill intent. They were great people, and none of them were over the age of 18. So it wasn't a concern of mine that I would be groomed again. That's where I got it completely fucking wrong, because I was groomed again. This time through a completely different online chat thing where I, where I met all these people. It was someone in the said community who was very much prominent there, and they somehow managed to get through all the lying about their age, saying that they were younger as well. They were the only person who managed to get through and do that. I spoke with them, made really good friends with them. Again, thought, yeah, this is just another person near my age. And then one thing led to another, and they started asking me for nude images, and I kind of went, hold on, this is weird. I said to them, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I've been groomed before. And they said, oh, I'm so sorry, but I'm not grooming you. We're the same age. You don't have to if you don't want to, but this isn't grooming, but that was how they got me. It's like, they're giving me a choice. They're saying I don't have to if I don't want to, and they're saying it's not grooming. It can't be grooming because I could just say no, when in fact it was just a really, really fucking devious way to get me to trust them, and it worked. I ended up sending them things that I shouldn't have, and after doing so, they ended up revealing their age, and straight away then I was like, okay, fuck, this is fucking grooming. I'm fucked now. It's happened again, and I was panicked. I didn't know whether to tell my mum. I never did. I never actually did. I just blocked them, went onto the communities and said that they're doing this, they did that, they've done this to me, and all of my really close friends on the community were so helpful, so supportive, and they ended up kicking the guy, and yeah, he was gone. I haven't seen him at all since, but yeah, like I say, it happened again. I sent things I shouldn't have. They coerced me and yeah, groomed me, and I let it happen again. I felt like a complete idiot, and by that point I was questioning, second guessing everybody, which is a safe thing to do, but at the same time it was annoying my friends. They understood, but it was annoying them that I kept asking them, like, oh, are you who you say you are? Because I'm scared, because I spoke to this person for like 6 months, and they really knew how to do this and that. And yeah, I managed to find out by many different means that all of the other friends on there were who they said they were, and I was just very lucky in that respect, that they weren't lying about themselves, and that they cared about me, and that they still do. Like I say, still friends to this day. Um, but yeah, that was kind of a thing. Like, I had my place to understand my kinks. I had my place to kind of be open about that. But I still, even at the age of, what, 14, even at that age, I was still like, like sexual stuff, more on the side of normal sex stuff, I still don't know about. So I like a complete idiot, would kind of accept the sort of knowledge from anyone, and anyone in my friendship group who knew stuff, they would sort of talk about it with me, and it wasn't weird because they were the same age as me. They just happened to know more things than I did. I ended up looking things up more. I found, sexually explicit content websites, things like that, and I experimented as boys do when they're going through puberty. They experiment, and I did. Um, I experimented. I found out things. I looked up things, and I became just a normal, very horny teenager, only with this strange plethora of kinks on the side. Uh, but by this point, I was kind of like, oh yeah, it's whatever. This is just me, and I don't know how old I was. Maybe I was still 14, 15, but I ended up out of the blue getting a message from someone on my personal Instagram that I still have to this day. And it was from someone who looked like they were, which is really weird because it was just a total coincidence, but they looked like they were part of the community that I was in. They had like a profile picture and whatnot, and they just looked like that was the community they were in. I don't know how. I honestly don't. It was actually a complete and utter coincidence. I found out later on, but they just looked like they were. I can't really describe it, but I remember their username. I remember their profile picture, and they spoke to me and said, "Oh, hi. I think we know each other. I go to the same school as you." And it was like, "Oh, what? Wait, do you know about me? This, that?" And I was a complete fucking idiot, and I was like, "Oh, do you know that I'm in this? What? You're part of this kink group?" And they clasped hold of that because I was a complete fucking idiot. I didn't need to say that, but that's what I assumed because they looked like they were. As it turns out, they weren't, but they grasped hold of that, and they're like, "Yes, I am. Yes, tell me more about this community that I'm definitely in." Me being a total fucking idiot would sort of talk to them about it a little bit. I ended up revealing to them things that I liked, and like a complete fucking idiot again, I sent them things, and the things I sent them, they straight away took to the whole kind of sextortion thing, and they said, "Right, we've got you. These pictures I'm going to send to everyone in school, and I am in your school. You don't know who I am, but I am in your school." They were in my school, by the way. That is something that they were. And they said, "I've got these, and I'll send it to everyone in the school. If you don't send these to everyone in your school." And then they sent me pictures of someone a year below me who I don't even remember the name. I don't know who. I can't remember who it was. But they sent me pictures that they had sextorted, I guess is the word, out of another student a year below me, asking me to send those pictures around, otherwise they would send my pictures around. And it was like, so you're getting me to be your little middleman, your little message sender, and if I don't, you're gonna send mine around. I shit myself. I was terrified. Now, I never did send them to anyone else. I never did that. I never did because I just knew it was wrong too, and I was just scared of any repercussion, anything like that, and I didn't want to get into that. So I ended up blocking them. They managed to find my alt account, blocked them on that as well, and I yeah, I blocked them, and I did whatever, and I just hoped, fuck, I just hoped to God that they weren't actually in my school, and that this is just a freak incident, a prank, whatever. And this was all happening, I think, like a few days into the summer term, summer holiday, and it was all fine. Sorry, I'm yawning. Oh, didn't sleep too well tonight, last night even. But yeah, I thought, okay, well, this is fine. They haven't tried to contact me after this, and though I just sorry, I heard a funny noise, and I just hope to God that they do not try to contact me or that nothing happens. A few weeks go by, and I started a stream on my YouTube, and I remember what I was doing. I was in Far Cry 4 making a custom map on the map editor, and a message popped up and said, "Hi, do you know?" and then put the username of the person who was messaging me, and I kind of froze up. And to try and save my skin, I said, "No, I have no idea who that is." And then I think they sent another message saying, "I know what you did. I'm going to tell everyone in school." And I was just like, fuck, it's come back, it's back, it's back. I couldn't escape it. I ended that stream straight away, and at that point, that was when I really panicked. I ended up telling my mum about it, about the incident, and she said that she said that hopefully nothing will happen, but if it does, then you'll have to get the school involved. If anything happens at school, go straight to them, or go straight to them anyway. But I didn't go straight to them anyway. But I was, for the rest of the summer, I was mortified of the idea of having to go back into school. I think I tried to say I was sick multiple times in multiple different for different reasons, but it didn't work. I had to go in. I went in, and the first week or two, nothing was said to me. So I actually forgot about it all, until one day I was at the reception desk, or one of the reception desks of school, and a student that I didn't really get along with in my class came up beside me, and they whispered the username of the person in my ear and smiled at me. Smiled with just this horrible, evil grin on his face. And when he said that username, I just kind of thought, shit, people know. Uh, my first thought was, it's him. He's him. So I said, I don't, I said, I don't know what you mean. Who's that? What are you talking about? And he said, I know what you did. You know this username. You know this person. And I just, I just left. I walked off, went to the toilet, and I threw up. I cried, threw up, just streaming from everywhere. And yeah, I didn't know what to do. I messaged my mum, said, "Mum, someone, so and so came up to me." She knew the name. So and so came up to me and said this. I think it's them. And she went, "Look, you need to go to the school about it." And so I did. I went to the school, told them everything, and or yeah, I think I told them most of it, but didn't really go into it. And they said, "Okay, we'll take action with this soon. For now, you need to go back to your lesson." And I was just like, I can't. But eventually, I had to go back. I remember it was a science lesson. I went into said science lesson, and that particular student wasn't in there, but another one was, and I think I was just I was just talking with my friends to try and kind of chill out and try not to panic, and then I think I made a noise or something. Like I say, I was weird in school, and I often made weird noises and shit. And he turned to me and said, "Shut up, nudie," or something like that. And I was like, "What did you just say?" And then he said, "Yeah, and said the username. You know what I'm talking about." And then a load of others on that table looked at me and like giggled, like smiled, and I just realised then how many people knew about it. Um, it was no secret. That group in that lesson, they knew about it. How many other people did? And I just snapped. I said, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And they said, yeah, you do. We've seen it. We've seen it. We're going to show everyone. And I flipped my fucking table. The same table that my friends were sitting at, I just grabbed it, flipped it upside down, and stormed out the room. And I just stormed off, went straight to that same teacher that I'd spoken to earlier, and said, they have talked about this. We need this sorted out now. I need this done now. And props to her. She called the police and got to speak to a policewoman, but nothing really came of it. The policewoman was great, don't get me wrong, but there was no evidence because I had deleted that person. That person had deleted their stuff. It was all gone. And there was not really any evidence. One thing led to another. Policewoman left, and I said to the teacher, look, I can't let this happen. This is going to ruin me. If people know about this, it's going to get shared around. And the fucking bitch, right, said, what do you expect me to do? Call them in and tell them off? I'm like, yes. And I remember her saying, but if I do that, it'll only get worse. If I tell them off, they're only going to send it to more people. If I punish them, they're only going to make it worse for you. And I remember saying to her, but that's what you do. You tell people off, you punish them. You don't let them get away with it. And she said, I'm not letting them get away with it. It's just for your safety. We shouldn't bring them in and punish them because they'll just make it worse for you. Then punish them more. What the fuck are you talking about? Even now it's pissing me off. And I didn't know what to fucking say. I honestly did not know what to fucking say. I was so pissed off that the school, that they let me down. They let me get fucking groomed. Or, well, not groomed, but because they didn't know about that part. But they let me get treated like that by my classmates and just said, well, if we try and punish them, it'll get worse. I don't give a fuck how bad it gets. I'll just leave the school, go elsewhere. I just won't come into school. Punish them, and they will eventually stop. If every time they say something, they go into isolation, they are going to stop. They are going to stop talking about it. But no, she just didn't want to have to fucking deal with it. That's what it was. But yeah, so that happened. Nothing ever really came from it. I did end up saying to her, please, just bring in the one who said that. They brought in one of the classmates, not the original one that whispered the name in my ear. I never did find out whether it was him or not, but I do have a feeling that he may have been to do with it, because the look on his face when he said the stuff he said, I just thought it was him. So I still think it's him to this day. If by some miracle or some crazy thing he's watching this video and he knows who he is, thanks for fucking up that whole thing for me in school. Whatever, I'm over it now. But yeah, I don't really know where to go from here, because that's kind of all that happened. That is the extent of it. They called in one of the people who said, one of the students that said the username. He shook my hand and said, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said it. Everyone was saying it and I just joined in. I will tell them to stop saying it. And as far as I know, he did, because after that, it wasn't really something that everyone talked about. It did seem to just fade away. The horrible thought, though, is that I wasn't the only one who was victim to that, because there was that other boy a year below me who had pictures of him taken, and I never found out who it was. To this day, I don't know, and I just hope that they're okay and that they were okay. But yeah, that was that was the experience I had. Those were the three experiences that I have had, and they really have just taken a massive toll on me. And but I have come to forgive myself for being part of it, and I have come to realize that it isn't my fault and that it never was my fault. Now, people say you didn't know any better, but the truth is, or the way I see it is, you do know better, but you don't know how to do better, if that makes sense. So you know better than to do what you're doing, but you can't bring yourself to do better. If someone asks you for something that you shouldn't send them and you feel anxious to do so, you feel like you kind of have to for whatever reason, and you do it, that is, that you do know better than to do it, but you feel there's no other choice in the situation you're in. Either that or curiosity and the urge to kind of just do it because it's like it's a big thing is there. And I just want to say, if there are any victims of what I've experienced, more or less than how I've experienced it, not only are you not alone, but it is not your fault. It's not your fault. If you're going through it currently, please seek help. Please distance yourself from it. And please don't do anything drastic. Your life is precious, and I've been through it. I've been able to get past it. And in the current state of how I am as a person, I'm a lot more anxious now than I was back then. And that's saying something, because this sort of thing doesn't happen to me now. It hasn't happened to me since then. I'm an adult now, and I have other things that worry me more. That's not to say that they don't worry me, but to get this off my chest feels great. It really does feel great. But yeah, I just want to say that you are valid. You are valid. You're not to blame. And please, if this is happening to you, or this has happened to you, do not do anything drastic. Do not hurt yourself because of it. Your life is precious, and you can be helped, and it does get better. It does. You just have to accept that it happened and carry on living, because that's what I did. And as tough as it is, as hard as it is to get over something like this, you never fully get over it, but it does work. And I've managed to hold back my emotions talking about this, and I'm surprised that I have. I really am surprised that I have. I thought I'd get emotional, but if anything, this is freeing for me. And knowing that this could help someone else watching this, knowing that someone else has experienced something similar to what they have, or the same as what they have, and knows that it does get better and that they aren't the only one. I just hope that that does help people. If it does, I feel like I've done the right thing. And to get it off of my chest, honestly, I feel so free right now. I really do. I'm quite tense, but I do feel like this has helped to talk about. But that's pretty much all I have to say. I just want to, make it clear that you are valid if something like this has happened to you, and this needs to be talked about more. If you've been through this and you feel confident and you are of age, please be 18 or older, because you don't want to talk about this you don't want to talk about it when you're underage, because it just won't help you, if that makes sense. It won't look good for you. It won't. Well, it won't look good for you, but yeah, just don't do it. But when you're of age, talk about these things, and be that shoulder for someone who is going through it or has gone through it to cry on, because I needed that shoulder when it was happening to me, and I had it in the form of my friends. If you know someone who's going through it, help them. If you've been through it and you know someone who's going through it, help them and talk to them and be open to them about it, because it really does help to have someone who cares. If anyone has been through anything like this, please do feel free to leave a comment in the comments below, if you want someone to talk to. It can just be anything, can talk about anything. I really am a nice person and I just want to help people who've been through what I've been through, because I was helped by my friends. They made me feel a lot better about it, and if I can do that for someone else, then I feel like I've done something good. And if not me, talk to professionals, because at the end of the day, if this really is taking a toll on your mental health, you need to you need to sort it out for your own sake. You know, you need to get it off your chest, and you need to speak to someone. So please do. You are valid and you are loved, and I feel a connection to people who have experienced something similar to what I have, because I know how it feels and I know how hard it can be. So I guess that's all I have to say, really. I've talked about my experiences. Don't talk about your experiences in the comments or anything like that, because that's very public. If you want to talk to me, please leave me a message, and I will. I'll leave you a link to my Instagram or somewhere, and I'll be your shoulder to cry on. I'd be happy to. But of course, that is completely like that is just me, you know, wanting to help. I'm in no way a professional, so I would recommend that you speak to a professional, not myself, but me being someone who's experienced it. If you feel comfortable, I would be happy to listen. Yeah. That's all I really have to say, though. Please stay safe, and if you've watched all the way to the end, I really do appreciate it. And yeah, just keep your head held high. And if you're a person who hasn't experienced it and you're watching this, thank you for listening to what I've had to say. And I hope that you can accept. I hope you can see this and know that this is a very important thing, and hopefully spread awareness of this situation. And please go and watch Cam Kirkham's video in the description, because it is much shorter and very well put together. So yeah, without taking up any more of your time, I just want to say thank you, and yeah, I really appreciate you listening. I won't be doing videos like this very often, probably ever again. So this is very kind of random and out of the blue, but I just want to get off my chest, and if it helps someone, then I've done a good thing. I've done the right thing. So yeah, thank you for listening, and have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time it is for you. Thank you, and yeah, see you again.